so much AI shit flying around right now that it's so hard to work out what's actually useful. Every week, there's a new tool, a new agent, a new thing you're told you're an idiot for not using. And here's the part that nobody wants to hear. Most of it will not do one useful thing for your business. Buying more AI isn't the answer. A business doesn't grow because it has more tools. It grows because the important work keeps moving even when the owner is the busiest person in the room. And for most business owners, that's exactly the problem. The work that actually matters lives in one person's head, and that's usually the founder or key persons. And every promise and every follow-up and every "I'll get back to you on that one" sits waiting on you. So you become the person that's holding the whole operation together. And that's not an AI problem. It's a load-bearing wall problem. And adding another tool just makes the wall carry more weight. So here's the reframe. And honestly, it's what the whole video is about. Your business doesn't need more AI. It needs this. It needs one job, one boring, recurring job that keeps falling back on you. Defined clearly enough that a system can own it, so it finally gets done without you. And you don't need to become an AI business like everyone is telling you to. Every good business owner I know looks at this the way good businesses always looked at the internet. Not as the identity, just as a tool that moves work. And the people who will win with this aren't the ones running the most agents and the most AI tools. But they are the ones who picked the most annoying recurring job and got it out of their own head first. So you might be asking, okay, what job? Well, I'll tell you this, it's not the whole business. It's not the sales engine, it's not your strategy. You pick one thing that seems to need you every single week. It might be the handover after client calls, the thing that keeps getting pushed to your evenings because nobody else owns it. Draw a line around it. What starts the job? What is it allowed to use? Who looks at it before anything else goes out? And when does it have to stop and come back to a person? And that last part is the whole point. A good setup doesn't guess and doesn't freelance. It hands the work back at the right time. So you have to define that line and then it can genuinely run without you. But if you skip this, you just bought yourself a better way to babysit a tool. So you do it the other way around. You start with the job first that keeps ending up back in your head or on your plate, not with the tool itself. Because most people start with the tool instead of the problem first. And you get that one thing to point where it runs without you. And that's the real first win that you'll find with AI. And it buys you the one thing you can't buy more of. And that's time to do the work only you can do. Because the business isn't short on AI, it's short on you having time to lead it. So here's your homework for this week to round off this video. Don't sign up for another AI tool this week. And this is probably funny coming from a guy who literally sells AI and integrates AI into businesses every single week. But I don't want to see business owners falling into the trap of just buying tool after tool, but it doesn't integrate. They wasted time, they wasted money because they had no systems to actually integrate the AI in a way that actually makes them more money, saves them money, or saves them time. And that's really the only thing that we want to use AI for. It's to provide better experiences for our clients and customers and our general life as well. It's to free up time, it's to free up resources, and it's to help us make more money. And if it's not doing any of those things, then it's not worth actually doing. But the big mistake that a lot of people make is they'll try to start throwing AI at everything, but because they don't have a system, then naturally it doesn't actually save them the time. They end up getting frustrated and they kick the can down the road for 6 months. And so I don't want to see you guys make that same mistake. And that's why I'm telling you that if you start with one area first, this is how we do it in all of our AI consulting with businesses. When we first bring people on board, we don't say, hey, we're going to go and build you 12 different systems and throw them all at you at once, because most of them get incredibly overwhelmed even with the first part. So we've had to learn to break everything down into the smallest pieces and then actually give that to them in a way that they can actually use, understand, and integrate into their business so it actually saves them time. Because without this, what we've done in the very early days of the business before we really knew what we were doing was We'd go and build all this stuff, and then we'd give it to them, and they felt overwhelmed because they didn't know what to do with it. And so the same thing happens for a lot of business owners when they're trying to integrate this technology into their business, because they don't have a business system, which is different also from AI systems, but they integrate together. They need to have a actual system in place that helps them to integrate AI in a way that actually makes the business grow, that makes them, as I said, make more money, or save time. And so that's why we start with one job, one task, one workflow, whatever you want to call it, an AI employee, one thing that handles one job. And so to round this off, what I want you to do is to look at the last 7 days and find the one thing that needs you more than once. And ideally, it would need you a couple more times than that. You probably don't want to write it off after 2 and say, yep, this is the one. If something is needing you repeatedly every single week, then that's usually a good candidate for AI. And that's the job you start to define and map out where the actual workflow is. Once you map the actual workflow, capture how you're currently doing the process, then you can move on to where does AI integrate. But until you have defined the problem, defined and captured the actual workflow of that repetitive task that you currently do, and define the job that needs to actually happen, then you don't even go and look at tools or touch tools until you've actually done that. And the only way I would say to integrate AI with that is to actually go and ask AI, hey, these are the actual tasks that I'm doing right now. These are the most repetitive ones. How can we go about capturing this information so we can turn this into a workflow later? That is the only area where I would say where you can help bring AI in to actually give you that information, or to help you carve out of your brain the process and workflow that helps you to extract it, and then later you go and give that to AI. With that being said, guys, I just wanted to create this segment because there's a lot of noise in the AI space right now, and my job is to help people to funnel through all of that, to filter through and find the things that are actually useful, and to say no to the rest because it's usually a distraction. So with that being said, I hope you guys did get value from this video and you learned something new, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this type of video in the comments below. Hit like, hit subscribe, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one.